Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. This week I've been rewatching Avatar for the fourth time and I actually just watched the last episode, so now I'm really sad because you can never have enough Avatar in your life, right? But 2 days ago I found out that starting today there will be a 2-week readathon and it's called Avatar The Last Page Turner. That sounds so exciting, and it all has to do with the 4 elements from Avatar and also a bonus challenge. This readathon will be hosted by 4 lovely booktubers whose links I will all put down below in the description for you guys, so you can also see their original videos and their explanation of this readathon. I just think it's so funny that I have literally just finished rewatching Avatar before this readathon starts. I haven't rewatched The Legend of Korra yet. I actually haven't even watched all the episodes of The Legend of Korra at all because I have seen a couple online, but I couldn't find the rest online, and also I would like to see it in Dutch. Because I used to watch Avatar in Dutch as a child, so it sounds really weird to hear it in English right now because I'm so used to all the Dutch voices. But I heard that the 14th of August, The Legend of Korra will be on Netflix in America, and it is not yet known whether it will be on the Dutch Netflix as well, but I really do hope so because it would be so nice if I could watch that as well right after the readathon has ended. That would be so nice, and otherwise I'm just gonna try and find it online anyways. So this readathon is divided into the 4 elements of Avatar, which are water, earth, fire and air, of course. And for all of the elements there are several prompts that you can do, but I won't be doing all of the prompts because that would be a little bit too much for me. But I will show you all of the prompts so that you can decide whether you want to join with this readathon and which prompts you would like to do. But I'm just gonna show you guys my TBR for this readathon. So the first element is water, and the prompts for this one are to read a book with a blue cover, read a book with water on the cover, read a book with an indigenous main character written by an indigenous author, and the challenge for this element is to do a bookstagram on water. For the first 2 prompts I have chosen The Gracekeepers by Kirsty Logan. This book has a blue cover and lots of water on the cover as well, and this book is set in a world covered with water, so that makes it perfect for this prompt. It's about isolation and sadness, but also about a floating circus, which sounds amazing. I love stories about a circus. Honestly, I love them so much, and this book sounds so magical, so I have such high expectations for this book, but I'm also a little bit scared to read it because I'm like afraid that I will be disappointed because my expectations are so high for this book. So I've been putting it off for a while already, but I think right now is a really nice time to read this book, and I want to find out if it's as amazing as I'm hoping it to be. For the third prompt, to read a book with an indigenous main character written by an indigenous author, I have chosen Sabrina and Corina stories by Fajardo-anstine. And the only thing I know about this book is that it's a short story collection about Latina characters, and that's basically all I know about it. And I've read mixed reviews about this book, but I'm also really curious, and it's quite short. It only has about 200 something pages. Yeah, about 200 pages, so it's a short read, and I'm really curious about it. And it also has a really nice flop to it, and I love floppy books. They're the best. I won't be doing the Instagram challenges because there are two challenges that I don't really feel comfortable doing, and of course I could do the other ones, but I just decided not to do them at all and just focus on the reading. But if you want to do the Bookstagram challenges, please let me know because I'm really curious to see what everyone is gonna create for this. The second element is Earth, and the prompts for this one are to read a book with a green or brown cover, read a book with nature on the cover, read a book with a black main character written by a black author, and the challenge for this one is to do Bookstagram on nature. For this one I will combine the first two prompts again. So I chose Some Kind of Happiness by Claire Legrand, and this has lots of green and brownish colors on the cover, and it also has a forest, so that's nature of course. This book is about a girl who has a really wild imagination and created this forest called the Everwood in her notebook, but when she visits her grandparents during the summer and finds this endless forest behind their house, she discovers that the Everwood is real and that it's in danger and that it's her mission to save the Everwood. But when reality and fantasy start to collide, she realizes that if she wants to save the Everwood, she has to save herself first. And I just love the nature vibes on this book. I love the colors that they use, and I've never actually heard anyone talk about this book, so I have no idea if it's any good, but I just love books about nature overall, so that's why I picked it up, and also because it looks really pretty. So I hope that this will be some kind of hidden gem maybe. For the prompt to read a book with a black main character written by a black author, I chose The Confessions of Frannie Langton by Sarah Collins, and this is a historical thriller about a servant and former slave who is being accused of murdering her employer and his wife. She is called a seductress, a witch, a master manipulator, and a whore, but Frannie claims that she remembers nothing about what happened and she doesn't know how she got covered in blood. But she does have her own story to tell, and that is about her childhood and growing up at a Jamaican plantation and how she got to be in London. It's also about a passionate and forbidden relationship, which I guess will be with her employer, who people believe she now murdered. So that sounds really interesting and like a really cool story, and I just love a good mystery and a good thriller, so I am really excited about this book. The third element is fire, and the prompts for this one are to read a book with a red or orange cover, read a book with fire on the cover, read a book with a Latinx main character by a Latinx author, and the Bookstagram challenge for this is to dress as the Fire Lord. I couldn't really find a book with fire on the cover, so I decided to just choose a book with a red cover, and for this I chose Dear Haiti, Love Alaine by Maika Moulite and Maritza Moulite, and this is about a American Haitian girl called Alaine who is suspended from school and shipped off to Haiti to join a spring volunteer immersion project. During her time in Haiti, she also finds out more about her family's history, which happens to be loaded with betrayals, superstitions, and probably a family curse. And that sounds a little bit confusing, but also really interesting, and I don't really know what to expect from this book, but the cover already convinced me because it's so gorgeous. Look at that. I love this cover, and even when you take the dust jacket off, it's yellow, and I love colorful books. They're so pretty, and there are just way too many black books. I just love this cover, and I don't know what to expect from the book, but I'm excited and I'm really curious what exactly it's about, because I'm not quite sure yet from the summary of this book. And for the book with a Latinx main character written by a Latinx author, I've decided to go with Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. And this is about two girls who find out that they are sisters after their father has died in a plane crash. It's set in the Dominican Republic and in New York City, and it is written in verse, so that looks really interesting. And I haven't read that many books in verse yet, so I'm really curious what I will think about the writing style, but I have heard nothing but great things about this book, so I'm curious if I will like it as much as all the other people that I've heard did. The fourth element is air, and the prompts for this one are to read a book with white on the cover, read a book with air on the cover, read a book with an Asian main character written by an Asian author, and the challenge for this one is to do a bookstagram, dress up as an air nomad. For this element I only chose one book, and that is Japan Airlines #123 by Hideo Yokoyama. This is the Dutch title, and in English it's called 17. This book is based on a real airplane crash that happened in 1985 in the Gunma prefecture, in which only 4 out of 524 people survived. But I think this story is more so about a Japanese reporter and his story, and about the tension within the media, than the airplane crash itself. But it does sound very interesting, and it does kind of fulfill 3 of the prompts, because it has a white cover, and it is written by a Japanese author, and it is set in Japan. And it doesn't really have a picture of air on the cover, but it has the word air on the cover, and it's basically about an airplane, so I'm like, that's good enough, right? Then there's also a bonus category called the Avatar State, and for the prompts for this one I have to check my notes for a little bit because I don't remember them all. So the first prompt is to read a book with multiple colors, preferably with all of the previous colors, and the second prompt is to read a book with the chosen one trope. The third prompt is to read a book with a diverse cast, with people of color by authors of color, and the challenge for this one is to do a bookstagram TBR stack or something with elemental powers. So for this one I only chose one book. I decided not to do the chosen one trope because it didn't really sound that much fun to me, and I didn't really want to read a book like that in the upcoming 2 weeks, so I decided to just go with How to Love a Jamaican by Alexia Arthurs. This book obviously has many colors on the cover, and I also see all the previously mentioned colors. So I see red, I see blue, green, and even white. And the main characters in this book are people of color, and the author is as well. This book consists of 11 short stories about Jamaican immigrants and their families. So that sounds really excited, and it's quite short as well. So yeah, I'm curious about it, and I'm excited to read it. So that's my TBR for this Avatar readathon, and I'm really excited about this readathon already, especially because I just finished watching Avatar and I'm like in this Avatar mood, really. So please let me know if you will be joining the readathon as well, and what prompts you want to do. And also let me know if you are going to do the bookstagram challenges, because I'm just really curious what all your creative minds are gonna make of that. I try to post every Saturday and Wednesday. So if you want to be notified whenever I post, please subscribe to my channel and click on that little bell icon down below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a wonderful day with a lot of sunshine and books. Mata ne!